as a player, how would you feel you would approach it? Because what we have in the game is we have 3 tiers. You know, we have the top tier, which is sort of the pinnacle of motorsport, and a few series below that. Would you be someone that was sort of jumping at the bottom and
For sure the bottom.
work
For sure the bottom.
Yeah.
I go to the bottom because if you start at the top and you stay there, you've not gone anywhere.
But the pressures at the top are higher. You know, you're going to be expected to win more races. You know, the chairman's going to be on your back.
But you can only, to me, you know, I mean, for me, if I'm playing, I can only lose.
Yeah.
I can't win. I can just maintain.
Yeah.
But if I'm able to take a team that's near the bottom and work better, work smarter than the other teams, and work my way to the top, then I've really accomplished something.
Do you feel you'd be someone, though, as a manager, would be someone that would stick with that team and take it all the way, or do you see you would be someone that made jump ship to get your way up the ladder quicker?
I think I stay with it at the beginning and build it into something, because then all the sweat equity you put in there, all the time you spend to try to make it better, you're always going to have that. If you just drop one thing, it's like starting to put a puzzle together, and halfway done you say, oh, I'm done with that puzzle. I'm going to start a whole new one with a completely different idea.
Well, that's true. I mean, the other thing as well is, like, as a manager, you know, there will be certain aspects of the team that you're going to look to invest more time into. You know, there's the HQ, which these things are like long-term strategy decisions, and they take a lot of time to upgrade a wind tunnel, for example, and it costs a lot of money. Whereas maybe signing the hotshot driver that could effectively get you closer to winning the championship, you know, there's money to invest there. Would you be someone that would sort of like try find the quick, cheaper option, or would you be someone that's looking for the long term with the team?
I'm going to look for the biggest hitters. So I'm gonna work on the things that are harder to replace. It's easy to replace a driver. It's hard to replace a wind tunnel. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that is true. And are you be someone that's looking for like young drivers, bring them up, or are you going to be thinking about finding some already sort of?
I think at the top of my head, I'm going to pick one young driver, one experienced guy, and I'm going to start putting all my money into HQ, wind tunnels, development. To build the car up, and then when the car and the team is ready, if my young guy didn't work out, then I go get the hot shot.
That's cool. That's cool.
I don't want to tell anyone my strategy right now.
To be fair, there's no right or wrong way. You know, what you said there sounds like a very sophisticated approach. Like, I think one thing as well we should talk about is with drivers and hiring drivers. You know, maybe some experience comes in here, but when you're looking for a driver, drivers have different needs and wants. So, for example, you know, I don't know how it was in your career, but if someone came to you and said, you know, how would you feel about coming to our team and we'll give you the #1 status, but the money might not be so good. So it's more about your role in the team rather than cash. You know, some drivers might want more bonuses than what they do in terms of their role in the team. I mean,
that's all real. I mean, that happens in real life. That's exactly how it plays out.
Yeah. And does that create rivalry between the drivers? You know, so when someone gives you a #1 status, like, it seems.
I think, especially in a game like this where the cars and the development from the teams are so different from each other, all of the racing and rivalry really is based on the team. So to have drivers whose personalities work together to where that rivalry is healthy and pushes the team forward is super important. I mean, you have to have teammates who get along long term to be successful.
That's great, because that is exactly what happens in the game. One thing that's big in the game at the moment, which we're trying to push a bit more, which happens in real racing, is that when you're developing parts, you know, as a team manager, there's an opportunity to find that grey area, you know, push the boundaries a little bit with the parts, and, you know, there's a bit of risk associated with maybe developing a new rear wing. I mean, is there any sort of experiences you've had where, you know, maybe in racing that you knew that there was some sort of risk involved with a part, and there was a chance you might get found out at the end of the sort of race weekend, or is there anything like that?
Well, I think that's all the teams are always pushing every boundary that's possible, right? And, you know, this becomes apparent when the regulations come out and they introduce a new rule. And, you know, normally when they do that, it's because someone has kind of found some gray area and exploited it, and then they say, okay, there's a rule, you can't do that anymore. And then it's gone. So the risk there is, do you spend the time and the money going down a path of developing something that eventually, when they do find out you're doing it, they're just going to make a rule that is black and white and says you can't do it. And you've just poured all that time and money down this path. I mean, that's the give and take of a real race team and how they work.
That's exactly what happens in the game.
Motorsport Manager. Take control.